This is how I edit characters very quickly within minutes. So first, you want to add a new layer, clip it, set the blending mode to multiply, exit out of that, and then you want to make sure that you're using the pen hard, and then you want to start shading. Oh, don't forget that your force fade is on. Force fade basically does this. It makes the ends much more smaller, I guess. And yeah, we're just basically going to shade this part. Now that we're done shading the skin, go to layers and decrease the opacity all the way up to 11%. Now that we're done shading the skin, go to layers, add another layer, clip it, set the blending mode to multiply, exit out of there. Make sure that you're using the airbrush and you're just going to airbrush the side of it. And then you want to set this layer opacity to 40% or 30. We're going to now add another layer, clip it, set the blending mode to multiply. And this time, we are going to use purple to shade the hair and create the shadows. I mean, you can use like any color like red or blue, but it all really comes down to what color is specifically the character's hair. And I'm choosing purple because, in my opinion, I think purple, the purple shadow on the hair for this character will look pretty soothing and nice. After you're done shading the character's hair, go to layers and set the opacity to, let's see, about 48%. You just want to set it to a point where it's very likable, and etc. Then we're going to add another layer, clip it, set the blending mode to add this time, and we're going to switch our brush to the airbrush, and we're going to make our color red, and we're just going to kind of tap on it and create that effect. Then we're going to decrease the opacity all the way up to, let's say, about 30%, and then we get this really nice effect. Now, the next thing we're going to do is clothing shading. So we're going to add another layer, clip it, then we're going to set the blending mode to multiply, get out of there, and we're just going to go back to our dip pen hard, and we're going to use the color purple to shade the clothes and flowers and etc. If you're wondering how I make those clothing folds myself, what I usually like to do is that I like to draw some random line, and then I kind of like to make that little blob right there, and then I just kind of outline the skirt a bit, and then I make a bunch of more blobs from below here, and that's pretty much what I do for clothing folds. Now that we're done shading this part, go back to layers, set the opacity to, let's say about, I think 28% or 30% should be good. Then we're going to add another layer, clip it, set the blending mode to multiply, go to our brushes, switch it to the airbrush, and we're just going to airbrush the side. And then we're going to decrease that opacity to 50%, and, then we're going to add another layer, and then this time we're going to shade the eyes. So we're going to set our blending mode to multiply, exit out of there, and switch our brush back to the dip pen hard. Then we're going to eye drop this color, and we're going to kind of go to some of the more darker colors, like dark blue, for example. And after you got that color, what we're going to do is that we're going to kind of create this small little shadow over here. And then we're going to make this little bump. And as for the green eye, we'll eye drop the base color, and we'll turn the color to kind of a darker color, and we'll make the darker color that we chose a bit more darker. And we're just going to shade the eye like this. And we're going to make the little bump there. And we're going to use eraser tool to kind of fix some errors. And then, after you're done with that, we are going to create another layer, set the blending mode to multiply, and this time we're going to use this color, and we're just going to create another shadow. After you're done with that part, we're going to add another layer, clip it, and we are going to get a color like this. You can choose any color, it doesn't really matter. And we're just going to make this small little blob right here. this blob basically is like the eye shine for the eyes. And we're just going to decrease the opacity to about 24%. Then we're going to add another layer, and this time we are going to make the character look alive. So we're going to choose our color white, and we're just going to make these little dots to make your eyes look cute and not so dead to look at. And we're also going to add a little white dot here. This white dot in the middle of the eye is optional based on the character's design. Or if you just want to make the character, I don't know, have these type of eyes, you do you. The next thing that we're going to do is that we're going to add another layer, clip it, set the blending mode to linear dodge, and we are going to use yellow this time, and we're going to lighten up this part right here a bit more. And we're going to decrease the opacity to about 40%, and now it's kind of a bit more lighter. Use the transform tool if you think it's kind of out of place a bit. Now, the last thing we're going to do is that we're going to give this character some shadows, and we're also going to add a background. So we're going to duplicate this layer, and we're going to just bring it down, and we are going to set the screen tone to .L6. You can set it to any of these screen tones. It doesn't matter. You do you. And we're going to kind of just move it to the left here. Just, go to filter, change the drawing color to, I mean, it doesn't matter what color it is. Just change it to any color that's kind of dark. And decrease the opacity if you think it's a bit too much. And then, last of all, we're going to add a background. We're going to add another layer, swipe it under all of the other layers, and we're just going to make her a background. Now that we're done creating the background, we are going to duplicate this base background color. And we're going to put this background color all the way up to the top, set the blending mode to difference, and yeah, it does look creepy at first until you decrease the opacity. And if you don't think that this looks pretty nice, the color doesn't really look nice, then go to filter and just play around with the drawing color until you find something special. I mean, something good or something that fits the character. And I'm choosing, let's see, I'm choosing this color because, I don't know, it looks interesting. And we'll decrease the opacity. And that's how you make a gacha edit within under a few minutes.